So my people, this morning on Arise News, Rufai Senate tells Dr. Abati the bitter truth. Even some are telling him to go back to politics if he cannot call a spade, because this is my very first time in Nigeria that I am seeing the son of the president involving himself in politics, because according to the news, NANS accuses Seyi Tinubu of attack, like Seyi Tinubu wants to hijack the NANS. Even when the evidence is there, Dr. Abati is still want to defend Seyi Tinubu, saying that they want more evidence, this and that. And also talking about this particular lady that disappeared because of the group she joined on social media, which they believe that it is a Christian group, but at the end of the day, it turned out to be a cult. So this is the reason why we need to be very, very careful when it comes to this religion, especially Christianity, because some people have already hijacked Christianity. Even when they call out to a pastor that this something bad, you see his or her group will start, defending, even though that these people know very well that this pastor did something wrong. So Christianity in Nigeria is becoming something else. This is the reason why we need to know God for ourselves. We need to have the spirit of discernment so that the Holy Spirit will direct every step you take when it comes to Christianity, and also know all these fake pastors as well as fake groups on social media so that you will not become the victim. Let me allow you guys to take a look and hear everything they discuss in this particular video. Please do wait to subscribe if today is your first time. Share the video, give it a like, and also leave your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for doing so.
Okay, good morning, viewers. Let's take a look at what's trending. Now, let's begin with a disturbing trend that has emerged on social media around a ministry called Abba's Heart Ministries, a prayer group on Instagram known as Nebaioth. I hope I said that right. Now, it's suspected to be luring people into a cult and disassociating them from their families. The group is said to have been founded by a woman known as Joy Iroquois, also known as Joy Solomon, who has since deactivated her social media accounts and gone offline. Now, on Monday, fashion entrepreneur Nkechi Harry Ugonadi, founder of NHN Couture, raised the alarm about the ministry, linking it to the disappearance of this woman who goes by the name Ejiro, the CEO of the Instagram fashion brand Styled by Ejiro, which has also been taken offline. Now, Harry, that's NHN Couture, said Ejiro lived a normal life until she joined the ministry, shut down her business, cut off communication with loved ones. Now, she also alleged that the group encouraged this woman, that is Ejiro, to give up everything she owned as a seed offering to this woman, Joy Solomon, while urging her to isolate from her family. Now, a lot of people have come out to either state that they are also missing someone in their family who belonged to this cult, while others who were former members are now dissociating themselves. Taya Adekan being one of them, a former member of Abba's Heart Ministry, responded to allegations linking him to the disappearance of Ejiro. Now, he said he met her through the ministry's founder, Joy Solomon, who claimed she was relocating abroad and planned to donate her property to the group. Now, according to him, Solomon suggested he move into Ejiro's house and pay rent, since she no longer needed it. He also insisted that he and his family were also victims of Joy Solomon's manipulation, alleging they were pressured to give up their belongings and cut off ties with their loved ones. Take a look.
So at some point in time, it became clear that every member of the admin who were close to Joy Solomon had to change their numbers and get new numbers, because they don't want people to be in undue contact with them, right? So you're supposed to get new SIMs, register it, change your bank details to the new SIM, and then destroy your old SIM. Now, the aim of this was to make people disconnect or isolated from their families, dissociate from their families. And there are other instructions she gave us that didn't make sense, and we did not follow through with them. If we had followed through with them, we would have been part of those people that their families were looking for them. And that's why it seems like every other person who has been camped there is a victim, because they followed the instructions, and we said, no, we could not follow this instruction.
Now, this is a very scary situation. I think for me, my anger goes to the influencers, the newborn beauties. I think there was an Awosika lady as well that they accused of being a part of this as well. To be honest, a lot of them have come out to say they were once there because their testimonials are on the website, but they are not a part of it anymore because they noticed shady business. But my thing is, why are you saying this now? when there's a problem, why didn't you dissociate yourself and tell the people that you influenced to join the group to leave as well?
Okay, where is Ejiro? We ask the question. And the next question to ask is that, has this been reported to the authorities? Every citizen has rights under the law. Families of persons who disappear, have they reported that their person has disappeared, and have they provided the basic information that is out there in the public domain? And what are the law enforcement agencies doing in this regard? Not just about right, but also about misrepresentation, but also about fraud. Why is it important? Many will remember the case of, is it Pastor Jim Jones? I think around 1978 in Jonestown, in Guyana. And all of that was also about hypnotism. They called it, was it People's Church or People's Temple or People's Assembly? And this man just, hypnotized other people who thought that he was trying to take them to heaven. And 900 of them committed suicide. That's where the danger is. Now you use the word cult. As some people have said, some of these so-called religious groups, they are also cults. Many will remember the Ahum Shirinkoyo that was involved in the sarin tragedy in Japan. They were also pursuing these religious beliefs, and that also led to tragedy. That's why the Nigerian Constitution talks about the freedom of thought, the freedom of religion, I think it's also important to monitor some of these groups about which questions may have been raised. Now we're told that Pastor Joy Solomon has a prayer group that a lot of people have embraced. And then from this prayer group, the allegation is that people are hypnotized to give all their belongings to the church and follow Pastor Solomon. And then all of a sudden, we can't find Ejiro. All of a sudden, Taye Adekan and his wife are saying that they too were hypnotized, and they had given up their personal belongings. They ended up being put in an apartment by this same Pastor Solomon. That there are so many loose ends that will have to be, investigated. Nobody should disappear suddenly just because they belong to a prayer group, just because they belong to a particular faith assembly. But the problem here is the problem we have with religion in this country. These prayer groups, there are many. Solomon Zone cannot be the only one. Some people, if they wake up in the morning, they are on the internet. They say they want to join prayer group. They don't know what they do there. But they contribute tithes. And they have to contribute to make the pastor happy. Now, because in this country, there is an obsession with superstition. There's a fascination with shamanism. And this is why you have all these, CBEX, Ponzi schemes, and all of that, because there's also some kind of, hypnotism about it. They tell you that you will go to heaven if you just read this passage. They will tell you, go and bring all your things and give to the pastor and the family so that you can make an easier trip to that heaven. Now, all these superstitions will have to be addressed. And the final point is just that, yes, people can say they are religious, they can say they want to belong to faith groups, but they must beware that we're in the age of Brother Jero. Professor Wole Soyinka once wrote a play called The Trials of Brother Jero. All these pair binders, all these futurologists. Soyinka wrote another play titled Requiem for Futurologists. All these pair binders who deceive people all over the place and collect their money and just to cause tragedy. Now, a family is in agony because their person has disappeared. And friends of Ejiro, they are also in agony because she has disappeared.
Kachi, see, this is not new in Nigeria. The general word I'll put out there is, please know God for yourself. You don't need anybody to help you know God, or whatever you call your supreme being. You must have a personal relationship when it starts to go in the line of organized religion, I'll tell you this, there are sentiments that will be brought in. Because the overarching leader of any organized religion has his own sentiments, has his own biases, has his own antecedents, and he will put his sentiments, biases, and antecedents, and he will call those his sentiments God for you. So be careful. And you can see the display in various forms of organized religion, where they say you will do this, you will do that. Today, tithing is in a big controversy. Some people say, oh, you hear from God this way. Some people say you speak in tongues this way. Some people say, la, 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 blah, blah, blah. You do this, you do that. But just know that the titular head of that organization will bring his biases and his sentiments to bear. And see, those sentiments and biases could be from a place of experimentation. They have gone to other places before they veered into Christ as a tool. So like we say SPVs, a lot of people also use the body of Christ as a special purpose vehicle to fleece others. I have heard somebody say, give me a cost, give me a place in Lekki, I'll set up a church. God does not call them any longer these days. And I say it's not new. I remember, the example Dr. Abati was talking about, but we don't even need to go too far. Dr. Abati, you remember, in this country, in 1993, a religious group started the movement that the world was coming to an end. And they were told to sell things. People sold all their belongings. In this country, in 1993.
Okay. So
in this country, yes.
Okay,
in this country, somebody said he was
Jesus.
Somebody said he was Jesus. And people really went to wait there that he was going to resurrect when he died. In this country, and they believed it. In fact, I think Barrister sang a song on the in 1993 in this country. So we've gone from the days of Jesu Oyibo. The only difference is that this is a universal platform on social media. So it makes communication easier.
Yeah.
In those days, they will have to give you tracts. They will have to be on TV and all of that. But social media makes it easier. But you, for yourself, it's just like when we talk about CBEX MMS scheme. What is your own personal conviction? Can you pray to God in your room and believe he will listen to you rather than going to give that person you call your pastor money on the internet to pray to God? If you still believe that your pastor's prayer is stronger, you are not fit to be a Christian.
Anyway, some people claim that they have direct telephone lines to God.
You want to go for yourself.
But I understand you are into this telephone calls to God business too.
Certainly not.
You belong to a church where, they speak to God directly.
You know what, Dr. Abati? I think the beautiful thing about Christianity, which I hate is being bastardized, is that we all have the ability to have those conversations with God.
Yes,
but people are now taking advantage of the vehicle, or the people are taking advantage of the faith, and it's so disappointing because ultimately, what's getting the backlash here is the Christian faith, not the true Christian faith, because now people have blurred lines about what really happens in this faith called Christianity. And that's the real casualty here, is that there's a generation that don't want to open their Bibles to study and open. What does this really say? What is the truth? What is it? We just take what people say as gospel, and that's not correct. Now, on this particular issue, it reminded me so much of, I'm glad Dr. Abati gave some examples. It reminded me of the Shakahola massacre in Kenya. Yeah. There was a Prophet Mackenzie who took people into the forest and told them that he was going to help them meet Jesus. And over 300 people, almost 300 people died from because, well, I guess ultimately they did meet Jesus, but it wasn't, it was a huge international scandal. Now, where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is that you need to use discernment. There's a thing in Christianity called discernment, and it's a very, very, very key, if I may call it, virtue in the faith. So this is why, like Rufai is saying, read your Bible yourself. Yeah. There are good churches. There are people parading to be churches. They are organized groups of people. In this, the ladies call themselves Abbas Girl.
Abbas Girl.
Abbas Girl. A lot of them cut their hair. They had a particular hairstyle that they wore. They had certain things that they all did. This particular Ejiro, they told her that her mother is a witch who is trying to kill her. So that's how they alienated her from her family. So what I would say is that a church will not separate you from your family. A church will not, tell you that you have to wear a certain hairstyle to get God's attention. These are all of the things. We can't go through the list of things that will allow you to decipher.
Wear dreadlocks. You have had, and you can't go to something.
So it's ultimately, the end of the day is that there's nothing wrong with the true living churches and the true Christian faith. But there are people who are coming to pollute this beautiful faith called Christianity. And it's important that we continue to call them out. These influencers as well, they should have spoken out as and when they discovered that this was because people joined because of them. They led people astray. It's too late now that somebody is missing. But I hope it is with the officials. I pray, join in prayers that this lady is located and that she will be able to be rehabilitated. Beautiful, wonderful business. Let her get back onto the course of life that God had ordained for her.
Absolutely. Well, let's take another story now. We took this yesterday and we do have an update. The president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, has reportedly been attacked twice. Both incidents now we have confirmed here at Arise News. Now, this comes after President Bola Tinubu's son, Seyi Tinubu, denied claims that he led thugs to disrupt the group's recent leadership inauguration in Abuja. Now, let's take a look at some videos. In the first video now circulating online, NANS President Comrade Atiku Abubakar Isa alleged that Seyi Tinubu kidnapped, beat, and forced him to endorse a preferred candidate under duress. Let's take a look at that.
2 days to Salah, I was invited to Lagos to meet with Seyi. I met with Seyi and the Minister for Youth. The Minister for Youth, when he saw me, he hugged me in Lagos. We talked, and I was to be offered 100 million naira. But the thing is, it's not all about money. There are things which I stand for. You cannot ask me to begin to promote a president who has not done something for me to say he has done it. If he does something good, I will promote him. We will support him as the president and commander-in-chief. But where he is, you cannot say I should keep quiet. I won't do that. That we couldn't settle. And they felt that I'm being stubborn not to accept money and to come to Lagos without accepting money and going back. So they planned my abduction, and on the 15th, I was abducted. Of April, I was abducted, stripped naked, beaten seriously.
Now, this meeting was ongoing, and he just spoke about the first time he was attacked. Now, let's talk about the most recent attack, which allegedly took place in the FCT, the Wells Carlton Hotel. Now, eyewitnesses have now come out to say that, in fact, students were assaulted and threatened by thugs, which is a disparity from the reports that we got yesterday that no one had been attacked. Now, we have a brief look at the moment that the thugs came into the venue. Of course, cameras had been broken, and this particular cameraman was able to salvage just 10 seconds of the moment the attack began. Take a look.
How many of Nigerian students what is that?
Well, the former Senate president of NANS has now released another statement restating their point that, in fact, the NANS president was attacked by Seyi Tinubu's thugs, in quote. Let's take a look at the statement that he exclusively released to Arise News.
The president's son debunked the claim by NANS that he ordered talks to disrupt their inauguration. I want to let the whole world know that, and even the management of the hotel, according to our TV in the morning, that they said there was nothing of such that happened within the premises of the hotel. There is a black Lexus. That was the black Lexus that the president's son bought. And there's another CNG bus. It's one of those buses that was shared to the student by the president. Was also there. That was the bus that contained those thugs, that brought those thugs to the venue. And they burgled into the venue and started macheting people. They macheted the president. You can see the picture of the president there. He was macheted, he was brutalized, and he was seriously injured. As it stands, as I speak to you, he's under serious health condition. We don't know where it will lead to, but we have to make the whole world know that this is the current situation that we have found ourselves in a country that is meant to be protected by the government. Ever since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assumed office as the president of Nigeria, his son has done everything to hijack the structure of the organization. But we thank God for the progressive-minded stakeholders who have been resisting and will continue to resist him.
Here we are again. Rufai, we talked about this yesterday, and I think they have now sent in more, what they would say, more information on this. Your thoughts?
Number one, we'd like to plead with that hotel. That hotel has the capacity to save Nigeria by giving us information. If because of the fear or whatever factors involved, they don't release that information, that hotel and their management will be part of the decay of this country. So whatever it is, any information the hotel has got, they must give us. There is no how you would tell me that an hotel of such magnitude does not have CCTV cameras, because we need to get evidence. Secondly, we want investigation into the matter, but albeit an independent investigation, because there are a lot of dramatists personnel that are powerful in this country, and investigations like that are always muddied. Thirdly, if NAS keeps insisting on their allegation, they might not have enough copious evidence because of the situation. It was unplanned for, the attack was sudden, but they are saying this is the only thing they have. We must also encourage them to be able to take this up legally. But I'm also at sea with taking it legally, because when there are many forces, and when people tell you to go to court in this country, you know the meaning. I think the only saving grace here, and I might be wrong, please, is the evidence that hotel might or might not have. If we see whatever their recordings are, we are not saying that it happened. We are not saying it didn't happen. I'm quite very glum on this response. But what I'm saying is that for us to be able to get evidence of what transpired during that time span, based on the allegations of NANS, we need to be able to get those CCTV recordings and those CCTV footage. And please, what do you call it?
The Wells Carlton Hotel.
The Wells Carlton. That sounds like a hotel. Sounds like the name of a group owned by this famous politician out of Edo State that passed. What's his name? Is it Captain Hosa?
Okay.
I might be wrong. I don't know. But I think he also uses that, I might be wrong.
Captain Hosa.
I think he also uses that Wells Carlton or something. So I don't know. But of blessed memory.
It's under new management.
Okay, it's under new management. So whatever the management are doing, we commend them for their work, but we need this evidence. And please, they must be able to release it. We must be able to have advocates in the system that can hear all sides to justice in this country.
Absolutely. Vimbai?
Just reiterating what I said yesterday, really, which is that, firstly, it's unfortunate that the only way that, the common man feels that he can get justice is by coming to social media. Is that, yes, we advocate and say that, well, people should be able to report such allegations and so forth. But ultimately, you ask yourself, where will they report and what will come of it? Earlier we had a son who was also telling us that even in issues that are politically related, there's almost nowhere to run to. And that's where our real issue is that we just need to go back to rebuilding a nation that we know that when we feel our rights are violated, when we feel that we have been ill-treated, when we feel that we have been attacked, maimed, because that man was brutalized. He has his own allegations of who he feels was behind that brutalization, but under normal circumstances, there should be an investigation to find out who did this to this man. We must know. We must find out. We must get to the bottom of it. And whatever needs to be done must be done for us to get down to the core of this. And this issue of factionalization within NANS, over-politicization in a way that now creates this type of toxic politics in a student organization is very deplorable, because the student organizations, the youth movements are supposed to be the heartbeat of our democracy. But if they're being beaten left, right, and center, then where are we going? Very unfortunate. And I certainly do hope that justice is done. Whoever is the culprit here should be held to book.
Absolutely.
Okay. What makes this story juicy, wherever it's coming from, is the fact that the name of the president's son is being mentioned, Seyi Tinubu, right? And I think that we should watch out for the danger of a single story. In many of these issues, when you hear these allegations, there is a temptation to just follow one line on the story. And that's why investigation is important, for the security agencies to investigate. Now, persons claim they've been assaulted, there was disruption. It is not in their place. They may be victims. To say, oh, it's Seyi Tinubu that sent the thugs. That's the job of the law enforcement agents. As at the last time I checked, there is nowhere in the Nigerian Constitution that says that a child of the president of Nigeria enjoys immunity under the Constitution of Nigeria, either by osmosis or by any sort of alchemy. So if they have any proof that it is Seyi Tinubu that is behind the assault, then the place to go is to the law enforcement agencies. Well, we cannot presume that the law enforcement agencies will not do their work. The presumption of regularity will be on their side, that they will do their work, because that is what we expect. Not that, oh, this is Nigeria, they will not do their work. Then we'll be running a lawless society in the real sense of it. Now, the third point is that NANS itself, the National Association of Nigerian Students, has been very problematic. For a very long time, the National Association of Nigerian Students will seem no longer to be, representing the direct interest of Nigerian students, but the political interest that the people who go into that political arena have, embraced. In 2024, the quarrel was so much that, in fact, towards the end of the year, we were told that the two factions settled their rifts. Sometimes, when you look at these students, some of them who are in National Association of Nigerian Students Executive, some of them have been attending university for like 15 years. They never graduate. Being a student in Nigeria can become a profession. So when the law enforcement agencies look into this matter, these are all aspects that they have to look into. You can't be a professional student and you are supposed to graduate. You say you will not graduate. You are creating factions because of the money that politicians will bring. And then NANS will become a political wing of political parties or interests. These are other dimensions of the problem. And do parents have a role to play here? We're talking about Nigerian students. How come perpetually Nigerian students are so involved in all kinds of things that are not related to education? NANS will not talk about, the interest of teachers. NANS will not talk about how to develop the university environment, how to change the curriculum. It's always about NANS having factions and following one political group or the other. These are the more fundamental issues that we need to be addressed. But if there are persons who have been assaulted, who think that they have been brutalized, the place to go is to the law enforcement agents and to back up their claims with evidence. Not even the son of the president is above the laws of Nigeria.
Absolutely. Well, we take our final story.
Kachi, very quickly, congratulations on the investigative work that you've done to unearth these
videos.
videos.
Of course,
and that's very commendable.
Thank you very much.
Because I know you went the extra mile to find out what was happening.
Just to be sure, so no one feels as though they're being silenced or shortchanged. But I understand, you know, of course, the point that is being made.
Even you as the investigative journalist, you can assist the law enforcement agencies.
But if we're being honest, we know how hard these things are, and that's I think that's the part that is most frustrating.
No, you can assist them.
It's hard.
As a citizen.
I think
are you being factual?
No, Dr. Abati.
How do you assist them?
With due respect,
you can give information
on this matter.
Citizen.
Dr. Abati.
They will do nothing.
No, it's called citizen.
Can I just say what the Wells Carlton? Because I did reach out to them, and I was told nothing happened. I was told by the Wells Carlton nothing happened. So with this video, obviously, even if maybe it was not that big, but something happened. What happened? Why are they saying nothing happened?
Dr. Abati, you have been an editor for so many years, a journalist extraordinaire, a man that has seen it mostly in this system. You want to tell me that there are no stories that have been killed in this country that never saw the light of day? You want to tell me that Nigeria doesn't happen to us, that cases that concern some people, once you see their status in society, it goes underground? You want to tell me that Nigerians talk about go to court is not tenable? Dr. Abati, we know these things.
We cannot do media trial. We cannot damage people's reputation.
It's not media trial.
On the basis of one side of the
Dr. Abati, all
story.
we have just called for, nobody did that. All we just called for is, please, Carlton West Hotel, we beg you for the integrity of this country. Relieve whatever you have. I'm not even saying say what happened. I don't know what happened. Release your CCTV between the time span of what this NANS allegation is covering. If they say, okay, between 2 to 3, this happened, release the CCTV of that trailer for all of us to see. And if nothing happened, we'll come and sanction NANS here. That's what we are saying.
Exactly. If possible, they also have a register of people who are in the hotel at every time. Let us know who are the people who came in through your gates. And I think that's really what is going to help in understanding these situations. So no party feels shortchanged or frustrated on both sides, on the sides of the presidents and who said enough is enough yesterday to the defamation, and on the sides of the NANS who are saying, no, we're being bullied and harassed.
So my people, that is it. I hope you guys had everything they discussed here. And I really love the way Rufai just called a spade in this particular video. You guys know Rufai, he always speak true to the power. And for Dr. Abati that always, want to balance the so-called discussion, kudos to him as well. But the truth is that whenever we see the truth, we need to speak out. We don't need to defend anyone, no matter who the person is. I hope you guys had everything they said here. Please do wait to leave your thoughts in the comment section about the discussion, and also subscribe if today is your first time here. Share the video, give it a like. I will see you guys in my next update. Goodbye for now.
Welcome to Chamress News TV.